So, the university system, school system, is an example of social institutions. We will learn more about social institutions in weeks to come. And in any university, there are many divisions and departments. There's a clear division of labor in the university. And even your syllabus is standardized. Your general studies syllabus are not created by professors. The templates are provided by General Studies Office. We just put our names, our emails, off we go. Because they figure this is the most efficient, the best, the fastest way to do general education by having a standardized syllabus template for all instructors. This is the most efficient way for general studies. The best and fastest way to do general studies. And are your Zoom sessions predictable? What's going to take place? Are they predictable? Can you predict what's going to happen when you log into Zoom? When you click on the link, not log in?
I mean, I can predict that we'll sit through like class, but class will be slightly different, but I can still kind of predict a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Can you predict what I'm going to do once you click on the link?
I mean, not really, I guess. You can kind of do whatever you want, technically.
So I always do different things according to your. So online classes is a wrong example, apparently. What do I do first thing first? Whenever you see me, you first saw me on Zoom.
You took roll.
Sometimes. And if I don't take roles, do I start my lecture right away? If I don't take roles, do I start my lecture right away? Or I do housekeeping?
It seems that you do start your lecture right away if you don't take
So
roll.
because of that, I'm hard to predict.
I don't know. I wouldn't say you're hard to predict. Every day is slightly different, but there's some predictability to it.
Don't talk about my class. What about your other online classes? Are they standardized? Are they uniform in some ways? Can you predict what your professors is going to do in your other classes? Maybe I'm weird.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't have an order. I'm not systematic. It's my bad. So there's the standard. Everything is standardized in your other classes or even online classes. Everything is uniform and standardized. You know what to expect in your other classes, but not this. And do you have a grading scale for all your classes? Do you have a grading scale for all your classes?
Yes.
Okay. But sometimes, do your professors provide qualitative feedback on your essays, descriptive feedback? Or it's just a score and you don't get any feedback. You wonder where you got wrong, how you got it wrong.
We get feedback.
Okay,
In my classes, we get feedback.
so you get a grade and a feedback in almost all your classes. You can say that. You get a number grade and some descriptive feedback.
Yes.
Okay. But do you always get descriptive feedback or mainly just number grades?
Not always, but it's at least the bare minimum. Even if it's just a couple sentences or just a few words,
Mm-hmm.
every professor is usually has their own standard of what is enough.
Mm-hmm. So what happens more often? A number grade or qualitative feedback? What happens most often in your other classes?
Oh, usually just a letter grade.
Just a number grade, a score.
Right.
So your online classes, your face-to-face classes can be one example of McDonalization. There's an emphasis of quantity over quality. Usually professors give a number grade or a letter grade. Sometimes when they are too busy, they don't give qualitative feedback. And you always have a grading score, grading scale. What points to what points is an A plus? What points to what points is an A? What number to what number is an F? So calculability is portrayed in any classroom, any courses, whether it's in class or online. And there's some sort of control in any classroom. Professors control your grade. We all know that. I've been a student too. So I know professors call the shots. There are some sort of supervision. When this class was offered in class before COVID, we have tests. Now your tests are all essay. But before COVID, it's all true false matching and multiple choice. And professors walk around the classroom, make sure nothing funny goes on. There is some sort of supervision. So, it seems that all four elements of McDonalization are being portrayed in a class, a course you take, whether it's online or face-to-face. There's always efficiency going on. Efficiency is sometimes determined by university administrator, like general studies program. They decide it's most efficient, it's most effective if we just have one syllabus for every general studies course, and we email the template to all professors. Professors just write their names and their emails and their office hours and whatnot. Off they go. They figure it is the best and fastest way to offer general studies course. And professor figure is the best and fastest way to have number grades for your assignments aside from qualitative feedback. And because I'm not very organized, but your other classes are predictable. Most of your general studies courses are standardized to some extent. If your professors, not me, are organized, you know what to expect. And most professors, especially if it is a large class, they focus on quantitative grading versus descriptive feedback. Calculability is portrayed in any course you take. There's always some form of control and monitoring in any course you take. Make sure students don't plagiarize, don't cheat, and whatnot. Meet deadlines. Okay, any question? So, this process of McDonalization happens when the concept of rationalization is taken to its extreme. People want to find the most rational way to do certain things. They go to an extreme to do that thing. When this happens, we see the process of McDonalization takes place. Whenever a doctor in a hospital setting, hospitals are another example of social institutions. The healthcare system is another example of social institutions. Can you see that? When after doctor sees a patient, the doctor files a claim. Do you think the doctor can do whatever he or she wants? Or there are a set of procedures the doctors have to follow? Whenever the doctor files an insurance claim for the patient, do you think the doctors can do whatever he or she wants?
They have to follow certain things in order to make the process proper, and so the insurance knows exactly what they have to do too.
Yes, very good. So oftentimes the steps involved are being determined not by the hospitals, not by the physicians, but by the insurance company. Can you see that? So this process is also manifested in healthcare. The insurance company determines the step. There are best and fastest way to file a claim, certain forms to use, certain software to use, how the doctor should write after a diagnosis when he files a claim or she files a claim. Efficiency is manifested. And maybe the doctor may divert this responsibility to somebody in the hospital. Division of labor is going on. And the steps are always predictable. And there's always certain amounts the doctor can charge. The doctor, especially when the patient has insurance, cannot just charge anything to the patients. Do you know that? So, calculability is going on. When the doctor files a claim for the patients, or even if the doctor delegate this test to somebody in the hospital, calculability is always going on. Can you see that? There's always some control going on. Insurance company determines a cap the doctor can charge. How much goes to the doctor? How much goes to the insurance company? There's always some monitoring going on. Can you see that? So, doctors filing a claim for the patient is another example of McDonalization. Can you see that? And
Yes.
it's very similar to a fast food business model. Because of all these elements taking place, efficiency, predictability, calculability, and control. Can you see that? Okay, let's focus on each element in details. Efficiency means the best and fastest way to get certain things done. And sometimes efficiency is accomplished through division of labor. Now, we have self-service pumps instead of somebody pumping gas for us. We did not have self-service pumps in Malaysia when I was a kid. We only have self-service pumps when I was in high school in the early 90s. They figure it's faster and it's best for customer to do it on his or her own and pay through credit card instead of going to the store lining up, pay through cash. It's better this way. Washing machines is another manifestation of McDonalization, the best and fastest way to wash clothes. And prior to this, people wash clothes by their hands or by the river. It's not very fast. It's not very efficient. It's not very hygienic. Vacuum cleaners is another example of McDonalization. Prior to this, it took a longer time for people to clean their homes. Ramen noodles, TV dinners is another better way, faster way to make dinners, to cook a meal when we are busy. Especially nowadays, two couples, two spouses, two partners, they all work because they both need to work in this economy. Sometimes parents or one parent may drive through the fast food to get dinners for their kids. Or they may just make TV dinners. Or they may eat instant noodles, who knows. It's faster than the ordinary noodles. But it's not healthy, we know that. Clapper light is the better way and faster way to turn on the lights. Uber Eats is getting more attention these days because of COVID. It's a better and faster way to deliver food and safer way to somebody. Uber Eats. DoorDash, another example of McDonalization, is a better way, a faster way to deliver somebody's grocery and a safer way. Question? Okay. That's fine, Ashley. Thanks for your contribution. So, predictability is a second element in the process of McDonalization. It means a uniform and standardized way of doing things. Almost all your general education syllabus are standardized by the administrator, not by us. And whenever we order fast food, either in store or through the drive-thru, the steps are standardized, whether it's Wendy's, McDonald's, or Burger King's or whatnot. The steps are standardized and the steps are predictable. Can you see that? And we know what to expect. If you order through your app, maybe you skip a step or two, but these steps are still predictable. Can you see that? Motel 6, or whenever we check into a hotel or motel, the steps are predictable. It's always the same. Whether you check into Motel 6, Holiday Inn, Hilton, or some other places. The steps are always uniform and standardized. You know what to expect. So hotels are another portrayal of McDonalization. Vegas-style wedding. It looks very similar to when you order fast food through drive-thru. This is just that you line up in your vehicles to get registered for your marriage. The steps are predictable and standardized. You know what to expect. If you don't want to get married in a church, you decide to do it in Vegas because it is a better and faster way. You go to Vegas. So this is another example of McDonalization. Can you see that? Uber Eats, same thing. We know what to expect. When we use the service, the steps are predictable. So is DoorDash. And oil change. In any Jiffy Lube or mechanic, the steps are standardized and predictable. Whenever or wherever, where we go, whenever we do our oil change, it doesn't matter. Even if somebody, your friend or your parent, change your oil, the steps are still predictable. Tire change is the same, tire rotation. These are all examples of McDonalization. Can you see that? Calculability, a third element of McDonalization. We know how much we need to score to get an A+ in any course. We know what's the minimum we need to get to pass the course. All these number grades are being converted to letter grades. So any course you take, whether it's in class or face-to-face or online, are examples of McDonalization. The fast food business model portrays itself in the education institutions. Can you see that? You know how long you have to wait lining up to register your marriage in Vegas. Calculability. And all these fast food restaurants, they focus on their cheap burgers, their cheap food, not nutritious burgers, nutritious food. Big Macs for a decent price, not nutritious Mac for something more expensive is worth the money. No. Big Macs for 99 cents. Calculability is portrayed in fast food restaurants, Big Macs, not good Macs or nutritious Macs or nutritious fries. Mass production of everything in a factory is another manifestation of McDonalization and calculability. There is some system that determines, that calculates how much each worker can produce, and to calculate, assess how much a factory can produce in a day, in a week. See? Calculability. It focuses more on the quantity than the quality. And prior to mass production in the factory, all these artisans, furniture makers or whatnot, they, even to this day, a few of them, still custom made their furnitures. This is not a manifestation of McDonalization. If people custom make their furnitures, each furniture in the store is unique. It's not a reflection of calculability. They focus on quality more than quantity. But most furniture stores or factories these days, they focus on quantity through mass production. Can you see that? So any factory, whether it's clothing factory, food factory, meat factory, is a reflection of calculability. Employees evaluation. There are certain scores for different sections. How you cooperate with others, how you work with others, how you think independently, among other things. Then they give you a total score. After all these items, they total everything. So your employee evaluation is a manifestation of calculability. They focus more on quantity than quality. They itemize our different work roles. They give scores to each item. They total each item to give us a total score in the end. Employers rarely give qualitative feedback, just like professors. And they think this is a better, faster way to determine who to be promoted, who to give a raise, or who to lay off. By focusing on quantitative assessment than qualitative feedback. Can you see that? Question? So, the last element of McDonalization involves control and monitoring. Even if nowadays we can work from home, I saw somewhere on the news, employers install a manuscript or an app in employees' computer or company's computer for employees to bring home. That app can monitor what employees do, how much time is spent on work-related tasks. Nowadays, sometimes employers don't need a manager walking around supervising people. Those days are almost gone. They can do it through an app in this thing, and they will know whether their employees is doing work or surfing the internet. The app keeps track of everything, every website the employee been through, including the company's system to do work. Do you know how YouTubers get paid? Anybody know how YouTubers get paid? Do you know how YouTubers get paid? Nobody knows.
Ad revenue.
Monetization.
So, how is monetization taking place on YouTube? We know they get paid through monetization, but how does that take place? Anybody knows? It's based on the number of subscribers and views, right? Is there a formula on how much money should go to their accounts based on viewers and subscriptions. Anybody knows?
Does it also count when you're verified on YouTube as well?
Yeah. So, do they have a person verifying them, or everything is done through an algorithm through the program on the computer? Is there a manager supervising them, verifying them, or they develop a program to monitor them, to verify them, to calculate how many views they got, how many subscribers they have? Everything is done through a computer algorithm. Or is there a supervisor? Or are they verified by the CEO of YouTube? So the CEO will be very busy in this case. There are so many YouTubers trying to make a living. Or the CEO figure the best and fastest way to monitor the YouTubers is to write a program, an algorithm. That algorithm is going to do the job for the CEO. I think YouTubers are being paid $1 per 1,000 viewers. And I think if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. $1 per 1,000 subscribers. So this algorithm is going to do all the calculation for them. How many viewers, how many subscribers, verification, among other things. So YouTube is another portrayal of McDonalization. Control is manifested in how YouTubers get paid. The program determines how they get paid. They are not directly supervised by the CEO. It's impossible. We know that. The same way how employers quote unquote monitor their employees who work from home because of safety. There's an app in this system. Okay, here are the other examples of McDonalization. Online degrees, online learning is a manifestation of McDonalization. Don't believe me? Just see for yourself. Because universities lose their endowments over time due to this volatile economy. Colleges and universities have to survive in order not to close down. It's a business, I'm sorry. So they produce all kinds of new degrees online. So they churn out degrees like people produce fast food. Can you picture that? So online education is one manifestation of McDonalization. All four elements are manifested in online learning. Can you see that? All your Canvas course shell, they look the same, almost the same. It's designed by eCampus. Predictability. And the grading schemes are almost the same. Not entirely, but almost. Calculability. You are being controlled by your professors in different ways, but you're still being monitored. They figure this is the best and fastest way to do education, to recruit working moms, single parents, so that they can learn in their own pace and time. All four elements are portrayed in online education. All your gadgets are examples of McDonalization. In my days, we need a stereo, we need a phone, we need a TV, we need an answering machine. Now, you have everything in here. You can watch a movie in here. You can text through this. You can do other things through this. You can monitor how many miles you ran through here. You can monitor your diet through here. All four elements of McDonalization are portrayed in our smartphones, iPhones, iPads, computers, laptops. Live chat. Whenever we click on a website, something pops up. They figure this is the fastest and the best way for customers to ask questions. They delegate that to the customer service rep, the virtual assistant, division of labor, portrayed in here. And the steps are always predictable, regardless of what websites we go. Sometimes we see a virtual assistant pops up, a virtual rep. There's always a way to monitor the client's concerns and questions. And after that, when something is resolved, we get an online survey. Calculability is portrayed through virtual customer rep. We sometimes get a survey. They focus more on quantity than quality. All these surveys are closed-ended surveys. We check on different options. We rarely give qualitative surveys. Only one question or two questions. That's it. Can you see that? All these books that wants to teach us linear algebra, different programming techniques, statistics for dummies, they figure these are the fastest and the best way to learn something new, something technical, to make it simplify. This is the best and fastest way to learn something technical, like programming language. Your dummy series is another example of McDonalization. Self-checkouts in all our supermarkets. They figure this is the fastest and the best way for customers to check out their groceries. It's faster than cashiers, maybe. And the steps are predictable. All these self-checkouts, whether it's Hy-Vee, Target, or Walmart, they are more or less uniform and standardized. We know what to expect. We scan our grocery one by one. Then, after they give us a total, we select how we want to pay. Off we go, right? The steps are predictable. E-ticketing in airports, again. They figure it's the best and fastest way for customers to check in on their own, or they can do it in their homes, even without this. And the steps are predictable in these machines. So, as you can see, all these examples of McDonalization, they don't have to have all four elements covered. Can you see that? If they have 2 out of 4 elements covered, they are considered an example of McDonalization. Can you see that? Question? I think that's the last slide. Question? Because you need to come up with examples of your own. So make sure you know. Any question about your second exam or anything else? I think it's easier than your first exam. Because the first exam, you need to listen to a TED Talk. You need to identify, you need to compare your textbooks and the TED Talk to see which concepts in your book is portrayed in the TED Talk. Not for this. Not for your second exam. You saw the questions.